In a world where emotional chaos and misunderstanding often dominate relationships, the ancient philosophy of Stoicism offers rare, powerful clarity. This video explores 13 essential lessons every man must internalize when it comes to connection, respect, and emotional mastery, all grounded in timeless Stoic wisdom. Whether you're in a committed partnership or learning to better relate to others, these insights are not rules, but reflections. They will challenge you to pause, to listen, to lead without control, and to love without ego. If you've ever struggled to stay calm in conflict, to truly hear your partner, or to hold yourself to a higher standard, this is your map. Stay with us, and let the calm depth of Stoicism guide your growth. One quiet choice at a time. Because the strongest men aren't the loudest, they are the most present. Don't cut her off while she's speaking. Listening is a form of respect. In the age of noise, the rarest currency is attention. And in relationships, few things speak louder than your willingness to simply listen. Epictetus once taught that we have 2 ears and 1 mouth so that we might listen more than we speak. Yet how often do we reverse that ratio? Interrupting someone, especially in close relationships, reveals not just impatience but ego. It says what you think matters more than what she feels. That your view is more urgent than her voice. But Stoicism reminds us that wisdom begins with silence. Lease. Tenning is not weakness. It is control. It is discipline. A man who cuts her off may win the moment but lose the connection. A man who listens, even when he disagrees, creates a space where trust can grow. You cannot truly know someone if you never allow them to fully speak. The next time you feel the urge to interrupt, pause. Breathe. Ask yourself, is this the moment to assert myself, or to strengthen the bond? Your silence, used wisely, can say more than 1,000 rushed words. In the stillness of your attention, you give her more than validation. You give her presence. And presence is power. It is the mark of someone who has nothing to prove, and everything to understand. Listening is not passive. It is an act of strength. And in a world that rewards loudness, being the quiet one who truly hears, that is Stoic mastery. Don't let your voice rise above your emotions, calmness is true strength. There is a moment, just before you raise your voice, when everything can still be saved. A moment where silence has more power than shouting. Marcus Aurelius wrote that you have power over your mind, not external events. Recognize this, and you will find strength. Yet most people live the opposite. They surrender their emotions to noise and blame the world for the storm within. Raising your voice might feel like control in the moment. But it is the opposite. It shows you have been conquered by your feelings. True Stoic strength lies in composure. In the ability to hold steady even when things around you are not. When a disagreement turns heated, the louder voice is not the wiser one. Anger rarely solves what patience can. In fact, the loudest words often push people away, damage trust and fuel anxiety. And what is left when the noise fades? Regret. Instead, breathe. Ground yourself. Ask what the situation really requires. Is it volume or clarity? Heat or presence? The Stoic man does not deny emotion. He observes it, understands it, then chooses his action. And often, that choice is stillness. Raising your voice might silence the other, but it drowns out your own reason too. To be calm under pressure is to have freedom from chaos. That is true mastery. In the end, those who keep their voice steady keep their mind sharp. And a steady mind makes better decisions, builds stronger relationships and earns lasting respect. To raise your voice is easy. To remain calm when you are tested is the mark of a man in control of himself. And that is a power no one can take from you. Don't neglect her presence, being fully present is a form of love. There is a difference between being around someone and truly being with them. One is physical proximity. The other is presence. In today's distracted world, presence is becoming rare. Seneca once wrote that true happiness comes from enjoying the present without anxious dependence on the future. But how can you enjoy the present if you are never really in it? When you are with her but your eyes are on your phone, your mind on your work, your heart somewhere else, she feels it. And more importantly, so do you. The connection weakens. The trust erodes. Even silence, when shared with presence, can be comforting. But a distracted presence is lonelier than absence. Stoicism teaches attention. It asks us to bring our full awareness to the moment in front of us. This is not only for others. It is for ourselves. Being present is how we reconnect with meaning. With intention. With purpose. In relationships, presence is a gift. It says you are here. That this moment matters. That she matters. You do not need to say the right words all the time. Sometimes, just your undivided attention speaks more loudly than advice or praise. Each time you choose to look away, to check out, to escape into your own mind, ask yourself what you are running from. Because if you cannot be present with her, it may be that you are not yet present with yourself. Being here fully is not easy. It requires effort, patience and awareness. But the reward is a deeper connection, less anxiety, and a stronger sense of who you are. The Stoic is not just calm. He is awake. Alive to this moment. The present is all we truly own. Give it to her. And watch how everything begins to change. Don't boast about yourself, humility always leaves a deeper impression. There is a kind of silence that commands more respect than the loudest voice in the room. It is the silence of someone who knows his worth but does not need to announce it. Stoicism warns against the trap of ego, and few things reveal ego faster than the need to boast. When you constantly speak about your achievements, your success, or your strength, it often comes from a place of insecurity, not confidence. True strength is quiet. It does not seek validation. It simply is. Boasting can push people away. It creates distance instead of connection. Instead of drawing her in, it signals that you are more focused on yourself than on truly knowing her. And connection. Real connection is built not on proving how great you are, but on showing how much you care, how well you listen, and how deeply you understand. Marcus Aurelius ruled the most powerful empire of his time, yet his writings are filled with reminders to stay humble, to act with integrity, and to remember that we are all just human. Humility is not weakness. It is wisdom. The Stoic man lets his character speak before his words. He does not need to impress. Because he is grounded. When you stop trying to be seen as important, you begin to act in ways that truly are important. Let your actions reflect your values. Let your discipline speak louder than your pride. And remember, the ones who carry themselves with quiet strength often leave the deepest mark. Don't be quick to dismiss her opinions, every perspective deserves to be heard. It is easy to listen to someone when they say what you already believe. It is much harder when they challenge your ideas. But that is where real understanding begins. Stoicism teaches us to be strict with ourselves and tolerant with others. Dismissing her opinion too quickly is not just a lack of respect. It is a said opportunity for connection and growth. When you interrupt or brush off her thoughts, you send a message that her voice matters less than yours. That your perspective is the only one worth hearing. This creates not only distance but also resentment. And over time, it erodes the trust that holds any relationship together. Listening does not mean agreeing. It means you are willing to understand. A man who listens with patience shows strength of character. He is not afraid of being challenged because he knows that growth often comes from discomfort. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself to welcome correction and learn from every encounter. He knew that truth is not owned by one person alone. When you respect her thoughts, even when you disagree, you build something stronger than agreement. You build mutual respect. In a world full of noise and opinion, choosing to slow down and truly listen is rare. But it is in those quiet moments of honest attention that people feel seen and valued. And when someone feels truly seen, they begin to open up, to trust and to connect. Do not speak over her. Do not rush to correct. Instead, listen with the intention to understand, not just to reply. That is how a Stoic man builds not only wisdom but also love that lasts. Don't make her feel rushed. Patience is the mark of maturity. In a world that moves faster every day, slowing down becomes a form of strength. When you make her feel rushed, you send a message that your schedule matters more than her feelings. That your time is more valuable than the connection you are building. But true presence requires patience. And patience is not just about waiting. It is about how you wait. Stoicism teaches us that we cannot control others, only how we respond. When you rush someone, you are trying to control the pace of a moment that does not belong only to you. And often, in doing so, you miss the deeper parts of the conversation, the subtle signals, the silent emotions. A Stoic man understands that meaningful connection is not built in haste. It is built slowly, with care. Just like trust, it grows when it feels safe. When she knows you are not pushing, not rushing, but staying with her in the moment, she opens up. And through that, the relationship deepens. Rushing can come in many forms. Finishing her sentences. Looking at the clock. Nudging her toward a conclusion. Each one chips away at the space she needs to feel heard. To feel valued. Instead, slow your breath. Set aside your urgency. Ask yourself what matters more in this moment, speed or sincerity. When you offer someone the gift of your unhurried presence, you are telling them they are worth your time. Patience is not weakness. It is confidence in the long game. It is the quiet understanding that the best things in life are rarely rushed. They unfold when given room to breathe. Don't use words to wound. Lifting up is always better than putting down. Words are tools. They can build bridges or destroy them. They can offer healing or leave scars that last for years. When you use your words to belittle her, even in subtle ways, you reveal more about your own insecurity than her worth. Stoicism teaches that true strength is not found in dominance, but in justice, fairness, and self-control. Many people speak carelessly, without realizing how deep their words cut. A sarcastic remark. A dismissive tone. A joke at her expense. These moments, though small, can leave lasting damage. They erode trust and make her question her place in your life. A Stoic man is mindful with his speech. He chooses his words with care, knowing they have weight. He knows that the goal is not to win an argument or prove superiority, but to foster connection, understanding, and respect. Lifting someone up does not make you any smaller. In fact, it shows confidence. It shows you are secure enough in yourself to recognize and celebrate the value in others. Kindness is not weakness. It is wisdom in action. Next time you are tempted to say something sharp, pause. Ask if your words are meant to help or to harm. Ask if they are rooted in ego or in empathy. Because what you say reveals what kind of man you are. Use your voice to uplift, not to undermine. In a relationship, your words create the emotional climate. Make it a place of safety, not fear. That is the mark of a man who leads not by force, but by example. Don't overreact to feedback. Learn to pause and reflect. Feedback is not an attack. It is a mirror. And sometimes, the reflection it shows can be uncomfortable. But discomfort is not your enemy. According to Epictetus, it is not what happens to you that matters, but how you respond. Overreacting to criticism is a sign that the ego has taken control. It means you are protecting your pride, not pursuing growth. When she gives you feedback, especially if it is honest or emotional, see it as an act of trust. She believes in your ability to listen, to change, to rise above defensiveness. Reacting with anger, sarcasm, or silence shuts that door. And once that door closes too many times, it might never open again. A Stoic man knows that criticism is a gift. It reveals blind spots. It exposes weaknesses we might have ignored. To receive it with humility is to choose maturity over ego. To pause before reacting is to practice self-control. And self-control is the foundation of wisdom. Every time you resist the urge to defend yourself, you train your mind to stay calm under pressure. You learn that you are not fragile. That your value does not decrease just because someone points out your flaws. That is inner freedom. Feedback is not failure. It is information. The more calmly you receive it, the more clearly you see what it teaches. In relationships, this clarity helps you grow together instead of growing apart. Do not fear criticism. Fear the version of yourself that refuses to grow. The Stoic way is not to be perfect, but to be better today than you were yesterday. And feedback, when received with grace, is how that journey begins. Don't try to control her independence, walk beside her, not ahead of her. Control is often disguised as care. But true care gives space. Stoicism teaches us to focus on what we can control, our own actions, not the actions of others. When you try to manage her decisions or shape her path, you are stepping outside your circle of control and into hers. That is not love. That is fear wearing a mask. Her independence is not a threat. It is a strength. A relationship built on mutual respect requires that both people are free to be fully themselves. Trusting her choices shows not only respect for her but also confidence in yourself. You are not weakened by her autonomy. You are strengthened by it. When you support her goals without needing to direct them. When you celebrate her success without making it about you, you build a foundation based on partnership, not possession. And partnership is what Stoic love looks like, two individuals walking the path of life side by side, each strong in their own way. To control is to doubt. To trust is to honor. And honoring her independence means honoring your own discipline, your own emotional strength. It means you are strong enough not to dominate, but to stand steady while she grows. Freedom in a relationship is not distance. It is depth. The more you let go of the need to control, the more real the connection becomes. That is the quiet power of a man who leads with respect, not control. Don't say what you're not sure you'll do, keeping your word builds trust. Promises are easy to make in moments of emotion. But Stoicism reminds us that true integrity is not found in what we say, but in what we consistently do. When you make a promise, even a small one, you are shaping expectations. And when those expectations are broken, trust begins to erode. Empty promises may seem harmless at first, but they carry a silent weight. Over time, they teach others not to rely on you. They turn your words into noise rather than signals. A man who speaks with no follow-through becomes someone others hear but do not believe. Keeping your word is not about perfection. It is about alignment. Between what you say and what you do. Between your values and your actions. Each time you follow through, even on something simple, you prove that your word matters. That you matter. The Stoic man does not make promises to impress. He speaks carefully. He acts with intention. He knows that reliability is not flashy. But it is powerful. It earns something that cannot be demanded, trust. Before you say yes, ask yourself if you are ready to commit. Before you offer to do something, be sure you are willing to carry it through. This is how you build a life others can count on. This is how you become the man others trust without question. Your mind is sacred territory, don't give others the power to rule it. There will always be people who provoke you, judge you, or try to make you feel small. But their opinions do not belong inside your mind unless you let them in. Stoicism teaches that your thoughts are your own domain. What others say or do is external. What you accept and dwell on is internal. The difference defines your freedom. When you react immediately to every word or insult, you hand over your peace. You allow others to pull the strings of your emotions. But the Stoic man knows that calm is not weakness. It is power in restraint. He chooses which thoughts are worth his energy. He does not give away control just because someone else is loud or cruel. You cannot stop people from judging you. But you can stop yourself from living by their judgment. You cannot change what they say. But you can decide what matters. That choice is where your freedom begins. Your mind is not a public space. It is a sanctuary. Protect it with clarity. Guard it with discipline. Fill it with thoughts that serve your purpose and your peace. Let go of the noise that clouds your direction. The moment you stop letting others dictate how you feel is the moment you reclaim your inner strength. That is the Stoic path. Not to be untouchable, but to be unshaken. Not to control the world, but to master yourself within it. Not knowing what you live for is a silent form of being lost. A man without purpose may appear busy, but inside he drifts. Without direction, action loses meaning. Days blur. Choices feel empty. Stoicism teaches that to live well is to live with intention. Without a clear sense of what matters most, even success feels hollow. Purpose does not have to be loud. It does not need applause. It needs clarity. It needs alignment between your values and your actions. When you know why you wake up each morning, distractions lose their power. You stop chasing everything and begin building something. The Stoic man takes time to reflect. He asks hard questions. What kind of man do I want to be? What virtues guide my choices? He does not let the world decide for him. He chooses his path. And walks it with discipline. Without purpose, you are vulnerable to anything that seems urgent. You react instead of lead. You follow noise instead of truth. But with purpose, every step becomes deliberate. Even in struggle, you find strength. Even in silence, you find meaning. You do not have to know everything. But you must know what you stand for. A clear purpose simplifies decisions. It removes doubt. It sharpens focus. And in a world full of chaos, a focused mind is a powerful mind. Do not fear being wrong. Fear being aimless. The man who lives without purpose may never fall, but he also never truly rises. Let go of the trivial, and your mind will find clarity. Not everything deserves your attention. Not every comment needs a reply. Not every conflict is worth your peace. A cluttered mind cannot think clearly. Stoicism teaches that freedom begins when we stop being ruled by what does not matter. When you carry the weight of small frustrations, you drain your energy. You get lost in details that distract you from what is essential. Every minor annoyance becomes a reason to lose focus. But the Stoic understands that clarity comes from letting go, not holding on. You must learn to ask yourself in every situation, does this really matter? Will this still affect me tomorrow, next week, next year? If the answer is no, let it pass. Release it before it takes root. Your peace of mind is too valuable to trade for temporary irritation. A clear mind is not an empty mind. It is one that knows what to keep and what to discard. It is not easily shaken. It is not reactive. It is deliberate and calm. This is the mind of someone who has trained himself to rise above the noise. When you stop responding to every distraction, you start responding to what truly matters. You become more decisive, more grounded, less anxious. You begin to think with intention, not emotion. Let go of what steals your clarity. Protect your attention like it is your most valuable asset. Because in many ways, it is. And when your mind is clear, your decisions improve. Your confidence grows. And your life begins to reflect the discipline within. A Stoic life is not built in a single moment. It is shaped choice by choice. Response by response, thought by thought. In your relationships, in your silence, in how you listen, how you lead, and how you love, you are always revealing your philosophy. The goal is not perfection. The goal is alignment. When your actions reflect your deepest values, you find peace. And when your peace is rooted in discipline, no one can take it from you. Stay steady. Stay present. And above all, stay true to the man you are becoming.